past few days, we've been talking about conquistadors from Spain, exploring the southern part of what is now the United States, and exploring down in what is today Mexico. But today we're going to talk about a few different explorers who are now trying to get to Asia by going north. So you can see here in the directions, first we're going to read the book pages, which I'm going to get ready to read to you. And then you have two videos to watch. One's about Cartier, and then the other one is about Hudson. And then there's a note sheet down here that we're going to fill out about Verrazano, Cartier, and Hudson. And then you have worksheet 25 as your homework. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our note sheet. So once you click on that, then you'll need to click the edit in browser. So once it pops up here, click edit presentation. And then click edit in browser. And then once this pulls up, I always like to zoom in on it. Just makes it a little bit easier to see and read the page as well. So I always click view. You may have to click a drop down arrow if it doesn't pop up there. And then click zoom 100%. You could do more or less, whatever works for you. And then I click OK. You can see I've put the text boxes in there for you this time. So we're going to first talk about the Northwest Passage, what the European rulers wanted to find, and then why they were looking for it. And then we're going to talk about Verrazano, what he did not find, and then Cartier, what Cartier did but did not find. And then finally down to Hudson. Here we know his name's going to be Hudson, so that's what we're going to put there. Hudson, we're going to talk about how many voyages he went on, what he did, and what he did not find. So we're going to go ahead and go to the book pages, following along there, and filling this out as we go. So again, listening to European rulers, what they wanted, and why. So we're looking here at Northwest Passage. By the early 1500s, Spain ruled over a large and very rich empire. Spanish ships returned from the Americas with treasure chests filled with gold and silver. New expeditions also added to Spain's growing land claims. The rulers of other European countries still wanted to find a shortcut to Asia so that they too could gain wealth. So Spain was getting lots of money, and the other countries are saying, we should probably go discover some new land as well so we can make some money. So searching for a new route. The route followed by Magellan's expedition around South America to Asia was long and dangerous. So going all the way around the world, going south of South America, they're like, yeah, that takes too long and is dangerous. So many people thought that maybe they could reach Asia more easily by sailing through or around North America. This belief led explorers to search for a route they called the Northwest Passage. So they started trying to go up through here. So if this is the United States here, and then you have Canada, they thought maybe they could start sailing through here to get to Asia. So they wanted to start exploring some of these sea routes to see if they could get there. The first country to find this waterway would control an important new trade route between Europe and Asia and gain great riches. Some European countries sent explorers to look for the Northwest Passage. The search began in the 1500s and lasted for hundreds of years. So they began to go up in the icy waters in the Northwest Passage, trying to find a way to get to Asia. So on our notes, looking here, what did the European rulers want to find? Well, they were looking for a shortcut to Asia through North America. So they're still trying to find a shortcut to Asia through North America. And they did that to get riches, to get land, to get spices. They're wanting to find a shorter route to Asia. So they were looking for a shortcut through North America to get a shorter trade route. Now we're going to start talking about Verrazano. We're going to talk about what he did and what he did not find. So we're going to turn now to the next page, or scroll down to Verrazano. The French King Francis I was one of the many European rulers who wanted to find the Northwest Passage through North America. In 1524, he sent an Italian sailor Giovanni de Verrazzano to find it. Verrazzano set sail in January 1524. He landed on the coast of what is now North Carolina in early March. Verrazzano then sailed farther north along the Atlantic coast. He sailed into several bays and rivers, searching for a waterway that went to Asia. Along his route, he met many different Native American tribes. He could not speak their languages. He wrote that some of the tribes were friendly, but others were not. Verrazzano did not sail any further north than Newfoundland. He wrote, "My intention or aim on this voyage was to reach Cathay." If you remember, that's China. That's what they called China back then. So he was trying to reach China and the extreme eastern coast of Asia. But I did not expect to find such an obstacle of new land as I have found. So if we're looking at that map of the United States again, in North America. So he landed about here in North Carolina, and then he kept sailing north thinking, maybe I'll find something. So he'd go into this little bit of water and then go north, go into this little bit, and then keep going. And he's like, man, I did not expect all this land to be here. I was expecting it just to be a water shortcut. So Verrazzano made 2 more voyages to the Americas to try to find a water route to Asia. On these trips, he searched the coastlines of North America and South America, but still found no passage. In 1534, King Francis sent the French navigator Jacques Cartier. So we're going to do our notes first on Verrazzano, and then we'll get to Cartier. So let's take a look back at our notes sheet. So what did he do? Well, he went and he searched the coastlines of North America. So he searched the coastlines of North America to find a shortcut. So he searched the coastlines of North America to find a shortcut to Asia. Now, if this happens to you where it's either too big or not lining up like I want it to, I can highlight it all. And then either this little box will put up, or I can click home, and then I can change this. I can just click this different decrease font size, or I can change it here, and then I'll make it smaller and I can make it fit in there. So now I have it fitting in here. So what did he do? He searched the coastlines of North America to find a shortcut to Asia. What did he not find? He did not find a passage to Asia. So he did not find that passage. So he was looking for it, but he did not find it. So now we're going to move on to Cartier. So in 1534, King Francis, remember he was from France. So now we have France sending people to go find land and shortcuts and passages to Asia. So he sent the French navigator, Jacques Cartier, to look for the Northwest Passage. The king also told Cartier to search for gold. Between 1534 and 1541, Cartier made 3 trips to North America. On his first trip, he reached the mouth of the St. Lawrence River. Cartier claimed all the land around it for France. So he made it up to Canada and started claiming land for France. Cartier traveled up the St. Lawrence River on his second voyage. During the trip, he wrote that he saw fish in appearance like horses. Now, these weren't really fish, but they were walruses. He had never seen walruses before, so I can imagine, if you see a walrus for the first time, it's kind of like, what is that animal? The expedition inland went as far as what is now Montreal in Canada. But instead of reaching the Pacific Ocean, however, he reached a barrier, river rapids. His boat could not pass the fast-moving water, and he had to turn back. In 1541, Cartier visited the St. Lawrence River again, but was never able to find the Northwest Passage. In search of gold, he sailed up the river past what is now Quebec. Finding nothing, he returned to France. However, Europeans knew more about North America because of Cartier's voyages. So if we're looking at this map again up here, so he was sailing around in this area, following rivers, but he did not make it all the way to the Pacific Ocean because it didn't connect, and he found some river rapids, which is really rough water, and he was not able to sail up them. So now that we're down here, Jacques Cartier, what did he do? He claimed land in Canada for France. He claimed land in Canada for France. So even though he didn't find the passage, he did end up claiming a lot of land in that area for France. So again, he also did not find the passage to Asia. He did not find that passage to Asia. And so now we're going to move on to Hudson. As we read about Hudson, you're going to remember the story from when we read the Studies Weekly. He has a kind of an interesting story. So now we're moving on to Hudson. So it's kind of cool to see these pictures, though, of what it would have looked like for them sailing and exploring these areas. So now we're looking at Hudson. By the 1600s, exploration was big business. It was no longer just the kings and queens who were paying for people to go on expeditions. European trading companies also began sending explorers to look for the Northwest Passage. Their goal was to set up trade routes. So now businesses were like, hey, we need to send explorers to set up trade routes so that we can start trading, different spices and different goods to make us some more money. An English explorer named Henry Hudson made 4 voyages in search of the Northwest Passage. So there was a company in England that paid for his first 2 expeditions. In 1608, on his first voyage, Hudson reached an island east of Greenland. He then sailed farther north through the Arctic Ocean, but failed to find the Northwest Passage. The Dutch East India Company then paid for Hudson's 3rd voyage. So this company was located in the country named Holland. It's also called the Netherlands. The people living in this country are known as the Dutch. On this voyage, Hudson spent a month exploring a river in what is now New York. He named the river after himself and claimed the entire Hudson River Valley for the Dutch rulers. In 1610, an English company paid for Hudson's last voyage, his 4th voyage. He sailed along the northern coast of North America to the bay that also carries his name, Hudson Bay. So he's got a river and a bay named after himself. He named the Hudson River, and he named the Hudson Bay. Hudson claimed the land around it for England. He spent 3 months exploring the huge bay located in east central Canada, which is just north of present-day Ontario and west of Quebec. By November, Hudson's ship was frozen in the ice. So if we go way back up here, you can see the photo here. This is kind of what it was like for his ship to get frozen in the ice. It was frozen here, and they were just stuck. There was nothing they could do to break free. They had to wait till the weather warmed and melted before they could move on. So after a cold winter and much suffering, his crew mutinied or rebelled. He wanted to continue searching for the Northwest Passage, and they said, forget it. I just want to go home. So the crew ended up setting Hudson and 8 other crew members adrift in a small boat. And they said, you know what? You want to go explore? Here, take a small boat. Go explore. We're taking the big boat, and we're going home. Hudson and the men were never seen again. So now we're going to go back to our note sheet. And the name of the person we're talking about right now is Hudson. We're talking about Henry Hudson. And how many voyages did he go on? So if you need to go back into the book, we're going to look back here at Hudson, and it tells you here how many voyages he went on. So you're going to fill in how many voyages he went on. And then what he did, he claimed land for the Dutch and English. He got stuck in ice. And go fix this. His boat got stuck in ice. And then his crew mutinied against him. They said, no way, we're not going with. Well, and what did he not find? He also did not find a passage to Asia. So once you have this note sheet all the way filled out, filling these out too, filling up what the European rulers wanted to find and why, and then filling about each explorer, you're going to click close. You're going to watch these two videos. One's about Cartier, one's about Hudson. And then you're going to come here to worksheet 25. So this is your homework. So on worksheet 25, you're going to be using this map here to answer questions. So we're going to first click edit in browser. And then once it pulls up, I'm going to zoom in again. Just makes it a lot easier to read the paper. So I'm going to click view. I'm going to click zoom 100% and click OK. So here we can see if we read the title, it's the Conquistadors in North America. So the ones we talked about last couple of classes. So here we read our directions. Always read your directions first. It says study the map, which means look at the map. Then answer the questions about the routes of the Spanish explorers and the distances they traveled. So if we study this map, we can see that each explorer's route is represented by a different type of line. So we can look and see De Leon, his line is dashes. So if I need to, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more actually, because that's going to help me see the lines and the dashes better. So I'm going to try 150%, see if that works better to see. So I can see it much better now. So I can see the dashes here. So I'm going to look and see. So this isn't just dashes, it has dots. And then look here. Oh, here's where just the dashes are. So I can see that De Leon started here in Puerto Rico, and then he sailed over here, sailed up to Florida, went down, and then landed here in Cuba. So that's De Leon's route. And then I'm going to see Cortez. Let's see. His is just the straight line with the arrow. Oh, here's a straight line I see. I can see he also started in Cuba, went down here, sailed to Mexico, then got to land and went to Tenochtitlan. Remember, Cortez was the one who defeated the Aztecs. And then De Leon was down here looking for the Fountain of Youth. So now we're going to take a look at De Soto. So De Soto, he is just the dots. So if we come here, oh, there's the dots. So we know De Soto, he also started here in Cuba, went up to Florida, went all through the southern states here, and ended in Louisiana. Remember, he was the one who, anytime he met up with a Native American group, a lot of times it ended in a bloody battle. So De Soto is the dots. And then Coronado is dots and dashes. So if we look here, we can see he started in Mexico and then went all through the Southwest, got here. He was looking for that city of gold, figured out he was being tricked, and turned back around. So we're looking here at this map key, using that to know which route belongs to which explorer. Then we're going to look here at the questions. So question number 1 asks, which conquistador traveled the longest distance on land? So I'm going to look at the 4 routes, and I'm going to see which one of the explorers traveled the longest distance on land. So if you look here, Cortez has a route on water. This gray is water, but he doesn't get to land until he gets here. So he actually has a pretty short land route. So we know it's not going to be Cortez. So you're going to look at the other 3 and see which one has the longest route on land, which is the white here. Then number 2 says, which conquistador crossed the Mississippi River? So you're going to go up, find the Mississippi River, and then see which conquistador crossed the Mississippi River. Number 3 says, which conquistadors reached the Arkansas River? So again, we'll find the Arkansas River and see which 2 conquistadors reached the Mississippi or Arkansas River. Number 4, which conquistador traveled farthest north? So you have to decide which direction is north and then see who went the furthest north. Number 5, which conquistadors, meaning there's going to be 2, traveled through present-day Mexico. So we're going to look here is present-day Mexico. We're going to see which 2 conquistadors traveled through present-day Mexico. And then finally, which conquistador started his exploration in Puerto Rico? So you're going to look at the map, see where Puerto Rico is, and then you're going to decide which explorer started in Puerto Rico. So you'll just click on the boxes, type your answer in the boxes. And once you have all 6 questions answered, you'll click close. Make sure both worksheet 25 and the notes are filled out. When they are, you click turn it in. If you have any questions, send me an email, send me a message on Teams or a message on Remind.